chance to make a change. I've been in this game, it's a new day, and I'm making it known, cause I just want the world to know I'm paying my dues, and I got the utmost. I just wanna let you know I'm paying homage, cause
I just got back from the Middle East. I was doing anti-piracy missions for a civilian company, and I was just like, you know what, let me do a better job, because my dad's out of work. You know, America's struggling, so I was like, we need somebody with basically cojones to go in there and fight for the people, not just fight for big business. Right. I'm an independent, so I'm not a slave to either party. You know, I make my own, I make my mind up, I do whatever I want. Well, I do what I want for the constituents. It's pretty much whatever I think is best for the people, or whatever the people are telling me is best for them. I'm not the type of guy to be like, well, alright, I'm a Republican, so I gotta vote for this because if I don't, the Republicans are gonna be mad at me, or vice versa.
That's cool. I like that.
I'm gonna run November 2012. So right now we're just sort of
what's your, like,
getting the word out.
Background in politics? Or?
Oh, well, I was a Marine. I went to Iraq. I then guarded a bunch of senators and politicians when I was in Blackwater.
Surprised you're not Republican.
And then, well, I'm an independent. I believe in gun rights, but there's a lot of stuff that I disagree with. For instance, I don't agree with torture. I think that makes America look like the enemy. That's a war crime. People that were training in Libya will probably end up we'll start fighting them in about 20 years if history repeats itself, like Iraq and Afghanistan.
It's like that lady that quit. Basically, what's happening is everybody's worried about their paycheck.
Right.
We need people in power like back in the days where they actually gave a shit about this country.
Right, exactly.
You know, not take the job because, you know, they're gonna get a raise in a few months or see something better and move up or move on, you know?
That's exactly what she did. She left for money. So I always say, I don't like politicians. I'm not a politician, I'm a public servant. So, you know, when 9/11 happened, I left and joined the Marine Corps. Not because it benefited me, it was the right thing to do. So that's the way I'm looking at it right now is, you know, since getting out, I've been going overseas and fighting the pirates in Somalia, fighting the pirates in the Middle East. I look at this as an opportunity to, you know, help the country. I want to get in with the politics and get out. I don't plan on staying in for 30, 40 years like some people. That's another problem, because some people just stay in there in office and they don't really do anything.
You got a way to stay in and just continuously collect a paycheck for over 30 years.
Right, exactly. They form like a union pretty much. All the people that have been in Congress together for a long time, they just join up together and you can't break in.
How do you feel about stem cell research?
Well, I read George Bush's book and I think it's very interesting with what he did. I don't think that we should start exploiting. I think there's a lot of valuable benefits for medical research. I don't think that we should be exploiting embryos that can become humans. But I think what he did was the right move, where he allowed the ones that were destroyed that could not become human lives, he allowed those to be used for research. So,
well, I have a son that could directly benefit stem cell research. And so I have personal opinions about it.
Right. I know George Bush was for.
I'm also, like, you know, I have a son that I'm directly affected by because of our healthcare system.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a kidney disease, pre-existing. This medication is like, what, $2,000 a month? If I change insurance, I'm screwed, you know?
Has Barack Obama's healthcare plan influenced, has it changed anything?
It hasn't done anything yet. Has it kicked in? I mean, and it got watered down so much.
Right.
To meet.
So you would want the public option in there?
Yeah.
Say is that, you know, we might differ on stem cells, but I'm not the type of guy to be so, no, this is the way it's gonna, I will do research and I will hear everybody out and then make my decision and decide what I think my constituents want. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what I personally want, it's about what the people I represent want. So if the people want stem cell research, that's something where I would actually sit back and think, and I'd be like, you know what, personally I have a tough time with this, because I have a tough time with embryos that can become human beings being tested for medical research. But then again, I would have to weigh it with, if this could save hundreds of people's lives or thousands of people's lives, especially that some of my constituents that I represent. At the end of the day, I'm not a politician, I'm a public servant. So that's what I want to do. I want to serve the people the same way I did when I was in the Marines.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
I was teaching karate down South Central, and the program can't really sustain itself because nobody can afford it. Yeah. So it's going on in all the schools.
That's scary. I teach acting, but no one can afford my classes. Right. It's like sad. It's I'm going like I bring the price down just so they pay something, and I feel like a country doctor. It's like someone offered me a plate of lasagna. That's all they had. I was like, yeah. Do you know much about the DREAM Act?
I think the DREAM Act is about not separating families. Like,
yeah, if I was, my mom was illegal and I was here, and I got.
Excuse me, undocumented.
So thank you for correcting me, actually. Yeah, and I was born here, and I'm doing good and well, and I'm going to college, and I would be actually, and the DREAM Act would allow me to continue with college education and allow me to stay in this country. Because many kids who came were like one years old, never even knew they were illegal aliens or undocumented. Right. And because of it, are now denied. They're given the same tuition as an out-of-state person. In other words, if you came here from Germany, some rich family from Germany came here and went to college, you'd pay the same amount as an undocumented person. They had gone through school, had a 4.0, and now wants to continue their education. So that's what the DREAM Act's about. So it's a good thing. It helps Latinos, but it also helps everybody. It helps family, and it strengthens the country because these people, most of them are already educated, college educated. Maybe they pay, but they're not legal yet. But they were born here. Now they got a college education, and now the DREAM Act will allow them to stay in this country and pay taxes. Yeah.
Got it. You know, it's pretty disheartening when I was down in my district and I was asking teenagers, you know, what do you plan on doing for a living? How do you plan on making money? And they were telling me credit card fraud or selling drugs.
Plastic money.
Right, exactly. That's the only way that they see themselves being able to make it these days and actually have a quality life. And I can't really blame them for thinking that way because the government's been robbing the citizens blind. So people look at it as a way to get back or get even with the government, who's bailing out banks, bailing out Wall Street, and bailing out all types of big business. Why shouldn't the people feel like they're getting one over on the government? You know, I never thought I'd be saying that, but I really understand where they're coming from in a way. And I want to change that. I want people to actually want to do honorable jobs and not have to break the law. But it's tough to tell people not to break the law when their politicians are breaking the law.
My kid's school, the last couple of weeks, we've been voting, parents have been voting, but nothing happened. They got rid of the librarian, the nurse. I mean, I don't understand. Like, how do you vote to get rid of the school nurse, the librarian? And I think it was about 6 teachers who've been there like 15 years. I don't understand. How do you lose money to keep these people to be employed or teachers? I mean, they're not even making much.
Right.
How do you get rid of 6 teachers? What have they done? They haven't done anything.
As Margaret Mead said, never doubt that a small group of committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, that's the only thing that ever did. So I think basically the people are fed up with seeing fraud, waste, and abuse, racketeering, all different types of stuff going on in the government, in the community, you know, state level, federal level, and it's time for the people to take their government back, and that's what I want to do. I want to take the government back.
It don't seem like it's getting any better.
No, it's getting worse. And then, you know, I thought Obama was going to take us out of the wars. Now we're spending $10 million a day in Libya. But I'm told by the city that, you know, my after-school program, they can't fund it anymore because they don't have enough money. We have money to bomb people. Like, something about this area, this neighborhood, it's just, there's no other place like it in the world. I've been all over the world, but the excitement, the vibe, the feeling, the energy that you get here, it's amazing. There's actually a famous producer named Mark Burnett, and he actually started by selling t-shirts on Venice Beach and ended up becoming one of the most powerful producers in Hollywood. I think it's just something about capitalism, something about the entrepreneurial spirit of America, that you can pretty much come here from nothing and make it. And like I said, you can go from being a bum to a movie star overnight. So that's what Venice Beach, California, Los Angeles represents to me. What kind of job are you looking for, bro?
I'm a teacher.
You're a teacher?
Yeah, I'm a math teacher.
He lost his job.
Well, no, not exactly. I changed from teaching music to teaching math.
So is that one of the reasons why you left music to go into math? Because you figured it might be one of the programs we're not going to cut?
There were a lot of other reasons too. It wasn't the actual teaching of the music, it was more the fact that I was spending half my paycheck fixing saxophones, number one.
Really?
Yeah, fixing instruments, buying drumsticks, all that stuff.
So the city wasn't providing that for you?
No. And I was working like 80, 90 hours a week, like, you know, going to the music store every single night and XYZ. It's so much. That's why every music teacher is burned out.
Now the cutbacks are so extreme that they're making the teachers provide the equipment for the students.
Yeah.
It's like making soldiers buy their own guns, which actually wasn't too far from what we were doing. We were having to buy a lot of our own equipment, like batteries for our night vision goggles, laser sights, things like that. We would actually have to provide batteries for it, which is interesting because the higher up I got, the more fraud, waste, and abuse I saw. It just makes you disgusted. You know, like, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff going on, even at the city level, where money could have been better appropriated to pay for teachers and the kids, and it's just not funneling down to the right people. That's one of the things where I want to, you know, really hammer home. I will not tolerate fraud, waste, and abuse in the government.
Hey, is there any way I can show you my little portfolio?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let me show you.
Oh wow.
Yeah, see, this is something a student made for me. All kinds of student endorsements, student work, all my letters of recommendation, everything.
Looks like if you can't get a job as a math teacher, I don't think anybody can.
Right.
This is pretty extensive and pretty.
I worked hard on it.
Pretty elaborate, yeah. It's amazing.
So happy to meet a Marine. I'm like, wow, Marine. I am, man. It's great.
Oh, thanks. I'm always the same way about meeting
your service and everything.
I feel the same way about meeting a teacher.
Yeah.
It says a lot. We both don't get paid a lot, but we're both doing something that's going to help the world.